Okay, thanks for joining us today in the Fresh Living Group Rainforest Showroom. Today we're very lucky, we've got a special guest. We've got Chris Siddons from Siddons Solar Stream. Thanks Chris,
Thanks,
appreciate coming in.
Good, my pleasure, and thank you. Okay, today we've got the Siddons Solar Stream heat pump water heater. We have a stainless steel tank that's very easy to manoeuvre. It's lightweight, there are no anodes inside the tank, which makes it much easier for maintenance. There's a 10-year warranty on the stainless steel cylinder that's inside the tank.
Yep, right.
The heat pump here is coupled with the unit. The heat pump is a solar system that relies on airflow rather than radiant heat.
Yep.
It has a very large evaporator plate in the rear of this unit, and as the air flows through that, the heat that's in the air, down to -5 in fact, will get transferred through to the refrigerant, and that gets taken to the tank and passed into the water inside. In actual operation, it's very efficient. It uses about 1 kilowatt of energy per hour on average, and it would probably run for 2 to 3 hours per day in normal operating use.
Great. So Chris, does that say maybe uses maybe a quarter of the power of your standard electric hot water system?
We believe so, yes. About a quarter.
Great.
A typical operating cost for this in a year would be somewhere in the order of $150, we would think.
Fantastic.
Not much.
So that's a massive difference, okay. Yeah. And you touched on it a bit before, so I can understand it gets heat when there's warmth in the air,
yeah.
But even when we feel it's cold, it'll still generate hot water. Just expand on that. How does that work? Explain to our audience here how that works.
Yes, some people think that when in a cold winter's night, in the mid, when it's say -1 degree outside,
yep.
That's not hot. But when if you're a refrigerant and you're at -30 degrees, then -1 is hot.
Okay.
It feels hot. It feels cold to us because we're at +37 degrees.
Yep.
So heat is a relative idea. So
okay.
we can get heat out of very cold air.
Okay, great. And so that's where the compressor here comes in.
Yes, the idea is to evaporate the liquid refrigerant completely. Then it can be compressed into a superheat of about 95 degrees and then transferred into the tank. What we're not doing here is putting the electricity to use by running it through a resistance element. And as you would know, a radiator, a hairdryer, a toaster, a kettle, they are very, very high uses of power.
Use a lot of electricity, yeah. Yep.
Whereas this is running a compressor, a bit like the compressor of your refrigerator.
Okay.
And so it doesn't actually use a lot of power to turn that compressor around. And that's one of the benefits of it.
Yep.
The other good thing about a heat pump is that you haven't got any equipment that goes up on the roof. That makes it easier to install, cheaper to install, easier to maintain. And you don't have unsightly equipment up on the roof.
So it's purely just you've got the tank and just the compressor?
That's it.
Okay.
The outdoor unit can go in a location that's unobtrusive, as long as it's got good airflow around it.
Okay.
This works on convection rather than radiation. And
yep.
the ways to transfer heat are radiation, as we all know. When we go outside and we feel the heat, but convection, like when we sit in a bath and we turn on the hot tap, we feel the heat from that, that's convection. Or conduction, when we put a hand on the billy handle, that gets very hot, that's conduction. Okay. So they're all methods of transferring heat. We rely on convection mainly in the heat pump system.
Alright, great. So Chris, if you could perhaps summarise in maybe 5 or 6 points, what are the real benefits of the Siddons Solar Stream heat pump?
Well, number one is savings of dollars in your power bills. So
yep.
if you're concerned about your power bills, putting
yep.
one of these in is going to reduce one of the major uses of power, which is heating hot water.
Right.
So we consider that's the number one purpose. Secondly, long life. You've got a 10-year warranty on a stainless steel tank, no anodes inside. We believe that's a great benefit as well. With clean water, we'd expect this to have 20 to 30-year life.
Wow. Okay.
So
great.
Long life.
Yep.
Third benefit is no equipment up on the roof, easy to maintain, cheaper to install, nothing unsightly. We consider that's a benefit. Number 4, there are government rebates around for putting in these energy efficient water heaters, and there are regulations coming next year which will require energy compliance This will help you make your home compliant with regulations and pick up rebates that are currently available.
Right.
So I guess there are some of the key points. We think it's that there are benefits of this, and we just think this is a very efficient way of heating water.
Fantastic. And Australian company, of course?
Australian owned, Australian designed and Australian made.
Fantastic.
So we reckon that that's a good thing for Aussies.
Brilliant. Alright, thanks Chris. Thanks very much for coming.
My pleasure, Ben.
So everybody, call us. We'll work out which size is going to be right for you, work out all the rebates for you, and we're fully trained to install thanks to the training from Chris.
Yeah, great.
Thanks Chris.
Ben. Good.